terms of the result yesterday, you must be pretty pleased with the way the boys played.
Yeah, definitely. I think we got a fair bit out of it. It is always nice to win the games, even though the scoreboard is quite irrelevant. But yeah, I think we got some good match fitness into most of the boys. We came out pretty much unscathed, so they're the main goals you want to get out from these NAB Cup games.
Feeling ready for round one now?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's been a pretty good pre-season for all of us, and all the boys that had surgery early on have now had a couple of months back with the group, so I think we're all ready to go and bring on Adelaide in 2 weeks.
How's Jack pulled up? Have you spoken to him, seen him at all?
I haven't spoken to him today, but from everything I've heard, he was up and about 5 minutes after he got into the rooms, and I spoke to him on the bench, and he said he was feeling pretty good. So he's obviously got to get assessed this week by the doctors and over the next couple of weeks. But that's the beauty of having the weekend off coming up, is that it gives him every chance to get up for round one.
Do you get worried for him the way he goes about it?
Oh, you don't think about it too much. I think we play a contact sport, and Jack's as hard at it as any player in the competition. So he's going to go in hard, and he's got the strength to go with it. But I think it's one of those things that he might have to look at a bit of technique stuff with our tackling coaches and things like that, and that might be able to help him prevent himself getting knocked down in future. But you don't want to change the sort of the way Jack plays and the sort of person he is.
And there's obviously no such thing as going a little bit easier in NAB Challenge for him. It's all bull at a gate the whole time.
Yeah, no, I think that's the way we take on our every game we play, is when you get against a genuine opposition, you want to prove what you can do. You want to get ready for round one, and you can't practice those sort of things at training. So the only place you're going to get used to those sort of knocks is in the NAB Cup.
Sean Higgins has been very exciting during the pre-season. It must be great to think of what he might do this year.
Yeah, definitely. I think him and Jared Wade have both brought a lot to the group, and a lot of experience and still a bit of extra class that you might be missing. We've brought in with Dal and now with Higo this year, and yeah, he's just been great. He's been one of the best trainers on the track all pre-season, so it's no surprise that he's started the NAB Challenge really well, and I think he'll be looking to take him to round one in a couple of weeks.
I don't think the team's won a round one game under Brad, and I'm pretty sure, mate, not to bring it up, that you haven't won one in your career. It'd be nice to break the hoodoo. It
would be very nice. I think if you got a secret to how to achieve that, it'd be nice. But I think it's one of those things that we haven't started dealing, and I think a 8-goal loss to Essendon last year wasn't a great start. And it really puts you on the back foot. So we're going to come out and do everything we can to try and get that, make sure we're 1-0 coming round one. But we got a lot of work to do before then.
Does the focus shift firmly to the Crows now and how to beat them?
Yeah, 100%. We've been obviously all through the last month. We've been drip fed bits and pieces of information on the way they play, and obviously playing them in that first NAB Challenge game also gave us a look at them. But yeah, that's all it is now. Now we've got through the three practice matches. It's full all steam ahead to round one.
You talk about Jared Waite, and he's got to come back into this side. How do you think that forward mix is going to shake down? There's a lot of blokes probably for limited spots, really, aren't there?
Yeah, it's a great problem to have. I think if you heard Brad say multiple times he doesn't know what the forward line is, and I certainly don't. But it's just a great thing to have someone like Jared, the quality, the experience that he has to try and find a way to try and get him in that side. But we also got Aaron Black, who didn't play on the weekend, Lee Adams, Matt Jack Dorr. So we've got a plethora of options there, and I think it's exciting for the group that we've got so many blokes pushing for round one.
You guys have obviously got a few weapons down forward, but I think you must take a bit of confidence in the form from Robbie Tarrant and Joel Tippett, that even though you've got Grimer and those three guys out there, you might be able to do well.
Yeah, I think we've. Is that your kid just getting in there?
Yeah.
Got a little bit excited. His dad's here on TV. I think the defenders have worked really well together so far in this pre-season, and I think what Robbie and Tippo have also done in these 3 games have been really good, and I think they've given us a lot of confidence. But with the likes of Scotty Thompson and Michael Fredo down back, I think we've got a lot of experience down there now.
Do you have a position on the Etihad Stadium roof, whether it should be open or closed?
Yeah, my personal view is it should be closed. I know in that second quarter, I think until Zeeves got knocked out, I could really barely see the ball going for the centre bounces. So my theory has always been, if we've got a roof, why don't we use it? We live in Melbourne. I think we all know what the weather is like in Melbourne. You get 4 seasons in a day. So I don't know why, if we've got a roof, we don't just keep it shut.
Check off that view with the coach before you came out here, did you?
No, I think Brad's made his point pretty clear. But I think some people do enjoy playing under the under the open skies, but I don't understand why when you've got a roof, why we don't use it. Doesn't seem to make sense to me.
Toddy, that experiment with that sort of half across, that really didn't work for you guys at all then?
No, I didn't think the experiment worked at all. I think it's funny when you go to the tennis and they're all worried about the glare for the players, but we were worried about the glare for the supporters. So I know obviously you don't want sun your eyes in the stands, but you want to see a good quality game. And I think when blokes are worried about the sun, when you got a roof, just shut it.
Good to see so many young, enthusiastic young Roos out here today.
Yeah, definitely. We always get a good turnout from the supporters at days like this, and I think a lot of excitement around the footy club at the moment, and the supporters are definitely feeling that. So it's a good chance for us to get out and communicate with them, and spend some time with them and thank them for their support.
Just how excited are you about the potential of this team this year?
Oh, it's hard not to be excited. I think we know we've got a lot of work to do, and we can't look too far ahead. But I think from where we've come from over the last few years, I think we're definitely trying to make the most of the opportunities that we have, and I think it's going to be one of those years though where it's one of the closest years in AFL history, I think, with how close all the teams are. So it's hard to say that where you're going to end up. One or two losses here or there could really shape a season. So we'll be focused on round one at the moment, and hopefully get some confidence from that and go forth for the season.
What about the Adelaide Oval? Obviously a bit of a fortress, and I imagine it'd be packed out with Mad Crow supporters round one. It'd be a tough sort of environment to open the season in.
Yeah, definitely a very tough environment. It's also a very exciting one. I think if you've got a packed out stadium, and whether they're supporting for you or against you, it doesn't really matter. I think it gets your adrenaline going and gets you ready for the game. So we know it's going to be a hostile environment, but what a better way to start the season than to try and go down there and try and get a win.
Beautiful, mate.
Yeah.
Thanks.